It's one of the funnest jobs in the world because it's definitely not assembly line work. I get to meet different people every day, different items. It's been an amazing life working down there.
Rick Harrison stares into the camera with that familiar pawn shop patience. At 59, the Pawn Stars fixture looks tired but determined as he addresses the swirling rumors about his alleged imprisonment that have exploded across social media since late March 2025. Behind him, the glass cases of the gold and silver pawn shop gleam under the lights, hardly the backdrop of a man serving life behind bars. These rumors about me getting sentenced to life in prison are completely false, Harrison states firmly, his trademark bald head reflecting the shop's bright lighting. I'm obviously not in jail. I'm right here at the gold and silver pawn shop where I've been working since 1989. The rumors started after a March 26th YouTube video titled, "Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars Sentenced to Life Imprisonment," racked up over 500,000 views in just days. The video offered zero sources but plenty of sensational claims. By April 4th, posts on X were spreading like wildfire, some claiming drug trafficking charges, others suggesting fraud, all of them false. One particularly viral post claimed, "Pawn Stars Rick in jail forever?" garnering thousands of reposts. Harrison scrolls through his phone, showing various clickbait headlines and thumbnails. His expression shifts between frustration and bemusement as he points out particularly outlandish claims, including one suggesting he's locked up in Thailand, a country he's never even visited. "I've never been arrested for anything serious in my life," he explains, the gold and silver pawn shop's collectibles visible in the background, a far cry from prison walls. "No drug trafficking, no fraud, nothing that would land me a life sentence. It's pure fiction created to get views and clicks." Born March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina, Harrison's journey to fame was anything but overnight. His father, Richard "Old Man" Harrison, was a Navy veteran who instilled a work ethic that defined the family's approach to business. By 1981, the father-son duo had opened the gold and silver pawn shop in Vegas, a business move that would eventually lead to television fame when Pawn Stars debuted in 2009. "My dad and I built this place from nothing," Harrison reminisces, glancing around the shop. "We started as a small pawn shop in a rough part of town. Now it's a tourist destination. That's the real story, not some made-up prison sentence." Harrison takes a moment to thank fans for their concern, noting his phone has been blowing up with messages from worried supporters since late March. Some were convinced he was behind bars, others thought the show had been canceled. The support touched him, even if the concern was unnecessary. "I appreciate everyone who reached out to check on me," he says with a wry smile. "My mom was worried sick when someone told her I was in prison. Even Chumley was getting calls about it, and he's still dealing with people bringing up his old legal issues." His expression grows more serious as he addresses what might be behind the timing of these rumors. On March 20th, Harrison appeared on Fox News discussing the fentanyl crisis and advocating for tougher penalties for drug dealers, a cause that became personal after tragedy struck his family. "I was on Fox News talking about the fentanyl crisis and how dealers should face life sentences," Harrison explains, his usually steady demeanor slipping slightly. "Someone probably twisted that around. Instead of 'Rick Harrison wants life sentences for dealers,' it became 'Rick Harrison gets life sentence.' That's the only explanation I can think of." The pawnbroker's voice breaks as he mentions his son Adam's fatal overdose in January 2024. "Losing Adam to fentanyl was the hardest thing I've ever faced," he says, pausing to collect himself. "That's why I've been speaking out about the crisis. It's personal for me, very personal. The pain is still fresh." Adam Harrison was just 39 when he died from a combination of fentanyl and methamphetamine, a loss that devastated the family and pushed Rick to become an advocate against the opioid epidemic. Unlike the false imprisonment claims, Adam's death was all too real, a tragedy that rocked the Harrison family to its core. "When you lose a child, nothing else really compares," Harrison says quietly. "So these prison rumors? They're annoying, but they're nothing compared to what my family's already been through." Harrison brightens somewhat as he moves to more positive developments in his life. "On a happier note, I just got engaged to a wonderful woman named Angie," Harrison reveals, describing his proposal in Chile with a 6.5-carat ring from his own shop. "She's a nurse, actually. We were down in Chile when I proposed. March 6, 2025. Still can't believe she said yes. Pictures from their March trip flooded his Instagram while the prison rumors were spreading. A stark contrast to the claims he was behind bars. Photos showed the couple exploring Chilean landscapes, wine tasting in the countryside, and Harrison down on one knee with the Vegas-worthy diamond sparkling in the South American sunlight. "We're planning our wedding now," he says with a smile. "Not planning prison visits. The closest I've been to a jail cell is the county lockup when we film the show, and I'm evaluating something that might be stolen." By 2025, Pawn Stars had cemented its place as one of History Channel's flagship programs. What started as a niche show about a family-run pawn shop exploded into a global phenomenon. Highest rated on the network by 2011, second only to Jersey Shore across all cable programming. With son Corey Big Hoss Harrison and friend Austin Chumley Russell, Rick turned haggling into an art form, making history entertaining for millions. The pawnbroker picks up a Civil War cavalry saber from his desk, examining it with expert eyes. "This is what I'm actually doing with my time. Finding historical treasures, running this business, and filming season 23 of the show. Not sitting in prison." He runs his finger along the blade's edge, the gesture of a man who's spent decades evaluating historical artifacts. "Just bought this last week," he explains. "Civil War era, officer's saber with documented provenance. This is what I love, connecting with history, not fighting legal battles I never had." Harrison acknowledges past family challenges, including the 2022 lawsuit from his mother Joanne over shop ownership after Old Man Harrison's death in 2018. Richard Old Man Harrison died on June 25, 2018, leaving a legacy that extended far beyond the pawn shop. His passing created ripples that eventually led to legal tensions within the family. "Mom and I had our issues after Dad died," he admits, setting the saber down carefully. "She sued me over ownership stakes in the business. She claimed I muscled her out of her 51% ownership stake after she fell into a coma. But we settled that out of court. No criminal charges involved. It was a family matter, not a criminal one." He also briefly mentions his son Corey's 2023 DUI and Chumley's 2016 legal troubles, clarifying that neither incident involved him directly. Austin Chumley Russell faced drug and weapon charges after police raided his home, but received probation instead of prison time, a detail some rumors conflated with Harrison's supposed sentencing. Chumley had his issues back in 2016, Harrison says. They found marijuana, meth, and guns at his house during a sexual assault investigation. He ended up with 3 years probation, but no jail time. The sexual assault charges were dropped for lack of evidence. He shakes his head, clearly frustrated by how these separate incidents have been melded together in the rumor mill. Somehow, people are mixing up Chumley's old case, Corey's DUI, Adam's death, and now I'm supposedly locked up for life? It's ridiculous. Harrison's own legal slate remains remarkably clean for someone who's spent decades in the pawn business, an industry that often skirts the edges of legality. The 2022 lawsuit with his mother was settled quietly, without criminal implications. A 2001 bankruptcy filing predates his fame. Financial difficulty, not criminal behavior. The shop is still going strong, Harrison assures viewers. Chumley has his candy store, Corey's doing well, and I'm right here where I've been since we opened this place, not in some prison cell. As one of History Channel's most recognized faces, Harrison's pawn shop transformed from a local Vegas business into a tourist attraction drawing thousands weekly. By 2025, his estimated net worth of $9 million came from years of building that empire. Television contracts, merchandise, books, and the ever-expanding pawn shop business. When you're on TV for 15 years, people make up stories, Harrison says with a shrug. Usually, it's just annoying. But this prison rumor actually had people genuinely worried about me. I had fans sending care packages to prisons I've never been to. The rumors gained additional traction because of Harrison's recent visibility. Between his March 6th engagement to Angie, splashed across USA Today, and his March 20th Fox News appearance discussing fentanyl dealers, Harrison was already in the public eye when the fake prison story hit. The timing created a perfect storm for misinformation. I understand how true crime has become this huge thing in 2025, Harrison muses. Everyone's watching those streaming documentaries about celebrities in trouble, but I'm not one of them. I'm just a guy who knows how to spot a fake when I see one, whether it's a counterfeit coin or a made-up story about me going to prison. He chuckles at the irony. Spotting fakes is literally my job. Harrison addresses another bizarre aspect of the rumors, that some claim he's locked up in a Thai prison. The confusion appears to stem from mixed-up social media posts about actor Tony Jaa, creating a strange game of telephone that eventually looped in Harrison's name. I've never even been to Thailand, Harrison says, bewildered. I was literally in Chile last month proposing to my fiancée. Before that, I was right here in the shop. There are tourist photos with me from every single day in March. How could I be in a Thai prison? The pawnbroker's confusion turns to concern as he discusses how rumors affect not just him, but his entire family. Corey's kids were hearing about it at school. My mom, who's not in great health, was worried sick. These rumors have real consequences for real people. Harrison's life has indeed been a roller coaster. Childhood epilepsy that kept him bedridden and reading history books that would later fuel his expertise. 2 divorces, the death of his father, and most recently, the loss of his son Adam. But prison has never been part of that journey. I've had my share of challenges, Harrison acknowledges. The epilepsy as a kid, building this business from nothing, losing my dad, losing Adam. But I've always stayed on the right side of the law. That's something my dad instilled in me. Harrison ends with another direct denial of the rumors. Let me say it one more time. I have never been sentenced to prison. I am not serving life behind bars. I'm right here in Vegas, living my life, mourning my son, planning my wedding, and running this business. He invites fans to visit the shop to see for themselves. Come by the gold and silver pawn shop anytime, Harrison says. Odds are I'll be right here behind the counter, not behind bars. You can even ask me about these prison rumors in person. I'll tell you the same thing I'm saying now. It's all fake. As if to emphasize the point, Harrison picks up a rare coin, examining it with the practiced eye that made him famous, turning it over in his fingers, feeling the weight, assessing its authenticity. It's a gesture viewers have seen countless times over 15 seasons of Pawn Stars. You know what we say on the show. You never know what's going to come through that door, Harrison says with a smile. But I guarantee it won't be prison guards coming to take me away. The irony isn't lost on him that a man who's built his reputation on authenticating historical items now finds himself fighting to authenticate his own personal history against false narratives. In a world of deepfakes and AI-generated content, even reality TV stars aren't immune to having their realities distorted. It's a weird time we're living in, Harrison observes. Social media, AI, everyone's got a platform to spread whatever story they want. The line between what's real and what's fake gets blurrier every day. As April 2025 continues, the rumors persist on social media, but Harrison seems determined to move forward. Between running the pawn shop, filming the show, planning a wedding, and continuing his advocacy against fentanyl in his son's memory, he has little time to worry about internet falsehoods. Life's too short to obsess over lies, he says philosophically. I lost my son last year. That changes your perspective on what matters. Harrison gestures to a framed photo of Adam on his desk, a smiling young man with his father's features. It's a stark reminder of the real tragedy in Harrison's life, one that puts fake imprisonment rumors in sharp perspective. This is what I focus on now, Harrison says quietly. Keeping Adam's memory alive. Fighting against the fentanyl crisis that took him from us. That's real. That matters. Not some clickbait garbage claiming I'm in prison. He takes a deep breath, composing himself. I appreciate the support from fans who were concerned. Really, I do. But I'm fine, at least in terms of my legal status. Still dealing with losing Adam, still missing my dad every day, but not sitting in a cell somewhere. Harrison looks directly into the camera, the familiar face that millions have watched haggle over historical treasures for over a decade. The man you see on TV is the same man talking to you now. No criminal record, no prison sentence, just a pawnbroker who got lucky enough to share his passion for history with the world. As the interview winds down, Harrison returns to the pawn shop floor, greeting customers who are visibly surprised to see him in person. Tangible proof against the imprisonment rumors. Some ask for selfies, others mention the rumors directly. Harrison takes it all in stride, the practiced ease of a man who's spent years in the public eye. The funny thing is, Harrison says with a final thought, if I really were in prison, I'd probably be evaluating whether the guards' watches were real or knockoffs. Once a pawnbroker, always a pawnbroker. The man who turned haggling into an art form and made history entertaining for millions isn't going anywhere, except maybe to the bank, and definitely not to prison. You know, Harrison says as he returns to work, in all my years of authenticating items in this shop, I've never seen anything as fake as these prison rumors, and I've seen some pretty convincing fakes. With that, he turns his attention to a customer bringing in what they claim is a Revolutionary War-era pistol, back to the business of separating fact from fiction, just as he's done for decades at the gold and silver pawn shop.